Thank you, Abraham. I love you so much. I'm so happy to be here. In one of the recordings I've heard from a live event, you mentioned that if you were in our physical shoes at an event like this, that you'd practice tuning your vibration. And I'm just wondering, how would I do that?
Well, this is the sequence that we would follow. When we put ourselves into our bed at night, we would acknowledge that while I sleep tonight, momentum is going to subside. And so I have a really good opportunity when I first awaken in the morning to set the direction and the tone of my momentum as I choose to. And we would ponder that a little bit before we go to sleep, just to make sure that there's a vibration that's there, and something that when you awaken in the morning, you may find it more easily. Then when we awaken, we would stay right where we are for a few moments, and we would acknowledge, I've awakened into a new day. And this day is all about new vibrations, new experiences, new alignment. And then we would tend to our immediate needs, and then we would sit to meditate. And as we meditate, we would quiet our thoughts, which means we would stop all resistant thought, and then our vibration would rise to the frequency of our inner being. And then when we receive that thought, which undoubtedly will come, especially in time, then we would follow the impulse of that thought. If you come out of meditation and it doesn't feel to you that you have yet received any sort of download, we would sit with a journal and a pen, something that's comfortable to be with, and we would just write a few lines of appreciation about subjects that come easily to us, not some problem that we're trying to solve, but things that are very easy to feel good about. It's a little bit like priming the pump, but in this case the pump has already been primed. Now, you know the story that we often are telling you about getting ready to be 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 ready. So let's talk about this. When you went to bed that night, you got ready to be ready. You said, I'm going to sleep, I'm going to rest well, a sort of segment intending that you're offering. And while I slumber, my momentum will subside, which means when I awaken in the morning, I can set my tone the way I intend to. And then when you awaken in the morning, since you were ready to be ready, now, because you've left that vibration right there, it's there for you in your quieted mind. It's the logical thing that you would pick up on. Now the thought about meditating just comes easily to you. You don't think something like, oh, I don't do well at this, or I haven't done this before, or I'm not very good at this, or even I don't have time for this, because you got ready to be ready for it. So now you're ready for it. And when you're ready for something and you sit to experience it, isn't it better when you're ready for it? So you're ready for it. So now you sit to meditate. Now this meditation will be better than any meditation that you've had previously, because you got ready to be ready for it. In other words, you got ready the night before, you got ready when you awakened. Now you're ready for it. Now you're meditating. Now this meditation is more successful by what we are expressing here to be a successful meditation than ever before, because you got ready to be ready to be ready for it. And so now you've got some momentum going. So now you're meditating, and now you feel that detached state, and you're tempted to congratulate yourself a little bit about finding it, but you don't want to get too heady about this. And so you bring your thoughts to a quieted place, and you just feel satisfaction that you can feel that you're ready for it. And then you actually enjoy that sensation of quieted mind. You enjoy that sensation of communion with source energy. You enjoy that sensation of every cell of your body receiving the benefit of non-physical energy flowing to you and through you. You might even experience a little motion here and there. You might feel some twitches and itches in your body as this energy that's flowing to you and through you is finding some maybe little pieces of resistance in your physical apparatus, and is sort of working through them, and you're feeling the satisfaction of knowing that that is happening. Esther remembers coming out of a meditation like that and acknowledging it was like getting the massage from the inside out. It was like getting Reiki from the inside out. It was like the non-physical energies that really know me best flowing to me in the most precise and tender and loving and appropriate way. No worry about am I being electrocuted, or no worry about something going wrong. Just complete satisfaction and confidence in the perfection of me being willing to give myself over to this energy of love and of infinite wisdom. And so, oh, you got ready to be ready to be ready, didn't you? And so now here you are. And so now you're coming out of meditation and you have this thought about something. It might be a new thought that you haven't thought before. Unlikely. It most likely will be a thought about something that you've thought about before, but you'll have a different feeling about it. And so then we would follow that impulse. We would let our day be a day of doing our best to follow that impulse. And so ready to be ready to be ready. Now you have to know, your inner being knows what you are committed to today. Your inner being knows if you have children to feed, or if you have a work responsibility to go to, or if you have a deadline that you've made a previous commitment about. Your inner being is not, now that they've got you in this state of communication, going to lead you astray to be whimsical and irresponsible. Your inner being knows full well what you are set out to accomplish today, and also knows what's in your vortex that can be worked in and around and among all of the other things that you're about. Are you following? This sort of inspiration is not going to take you to some place that you don't want to be. It's going to take you into deeper, fuller, more satisfying experience with all of the people that you're already lined up to be with that day. Ready to be ready, to be ready, to be ready. And so now let's say that you're further into the day, and now this readiness is beginning to peter out just a little bit, because now the responsibilities and the details and the actions and the habits of action and the habits of thought of your normal day are beginning to dominate just a little bit more. You had a pretty good thing going for a while, and so now you're maybe bumping into some things. That's the point that we would say consciously to ourselves, I am doing extremely well, and tomorrow I will begin this again. We would not try to hold ourselves rigidly to something that is not flowing easily. And that's something that if you heard it, you heard for the first time, and if you really heard it, will give you a lot of relief through the day. Because oftentimes you hold yourselves to standards that your energy stream doesn't support, and there is nothing that will make you not trust the energy stream sooner or faster than to try to utilize an energy stream that you're not connected to accomplish things, because it just won't work. Being ready to be 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 ready keeps that, what Esther calls the magic, flowing. In other words, she can feel it. She can feel the way it feels when she's driving her car. She can feel it the way it feels when she's moving in and out of traffic. She can feel the way it feels as she encounters person after person after person after person. But sometimes you encounter something where you focus in a way that you detach from that stream. Let that be all right. Don't try to force it or fake it. Let that be all right. And at that point we would say to ourselves, to our physical being, this was good, and tomorrow I'll have another really good run at this. And what happens, because all of these things are progressive, in other words, meditation is a progressive thing. Your sensitivity to this inner energy is a progressive thing. It becomes more and more familiar, easier to detect, easier to tune into, easier to sustain, easier to recognize, easier to experience, easier to just let flow. You hear people talk about go with the flow. That's what we're talking about. A lot of times when people say go with the flow, they mean go with the flow of the human dynamics. That's never what we mean. We always mean go with the flow that your inner being has designed for you, knowing everything that you've got going in your life, and given what's in your vortex, going with that flow of intention, being ready to be ready to be ready to be ready. Why would anyone ever want to just stumble into a day and not have the benefit of all of these resources that are all lined up for you? When you start acknowledging that that energy is there for you, that that knowledge is there for you, you begin to feel invincible. You begin to feel all-knowing about things that pertain to you. You might even be bossy with others, but don't be, because your wisdom really stops with you. It's not about others. Esther said to someone the other day, she says, I'll do me and you do you. And what she meant was, I'll meditate and I'll hook in, and you meditate and you hook in, but I'm not looking to you for my own guidance, you see. And the other person didn't take it very well, because going with the flow means do what I want you to do, is what most people think, but it's not what we mean. How was that?
Fantastic. Thank you.
Enough?
One more.